You can't habit your way out of a life that you hate. No morning routine fixes a wrong career. No evening routine fixes a toxic relationship. No productivity system fixes a meaningless existence. Habits optimize, but they don't transform. Fix the life, then optimize it with your habits. And when I read this quote, it absolutely shifted so many paradigms for me, because for the longest time, that's what I was doing. I was prioritizing the habits to try and fix the life without really fully going deep in fixing the life. And so many of you guys can relate to this. How many times have we forced ourselves to start a 5 a.m. morning routine? How many of us have been taught to study the greats, to study all these successful people and what their routines are and copy that? And of course, after 2-3 months of implementation, yeah, we feel good, but we haven't actually moved the needle. We haven't actually shifted or changed significantly because we haven't fixed the life. You would journal every morning, you would listen to that podcast, you would read 5 pages of a book, you would go to the gym, enforce all these healthy habits, all these successful habits to be successful, yet you don't feel successful, yet you still feel disconnected from yourself, yet you're still questioning why there's still a huge part of yourself that feels unfulfilled. And then you question, why does it work for other people but not for me? You know that feeling. I know that you guys know that feeling because I know that feeling really well. You see, our brain, our mind, it craves control. It wants structure. But sometimes control doesn't always equal clarity. Sometimes taking control of your time and your actions doesn't always mean that you're going to get clearer in what it is that you want to do. That is misalignment. You being misaligned, but it's disguised as discipline. We crave discipline. We think that the discipline is going to help us get some sort of clarity in ourselves, when actually it's more of a distraction. For the past 5 years, and this is the one reason why I love self-development, there are so many layers to growth and we all go through different levels. But as we go through different levels, as we continue to evolve, we can reflect back and see how what we were doing was able to get us to the place that we are now, but it's not going to take us to where we need to go. And this concept of focusing on habits rather than trying to fix the life, now in hindsight, looking back, I can see is the reason why I was not able to break through this certain barrier for the past 5 years. And as you go into self-development, as you start to go on this journey of understanding yourself, the easiest thing and the most powerful thing to kickstart is to implement really successful habits. Journaling, meditating, going to the gym, getting your body right, getting your mind right, all of these beautiful things that allow you to be in that learning phase, in that understanding of self phase. But last year, it got to a point where I was listening to so many podcasts, listening to so many books. I've shared this in my last episode, my last few episodes. I was doing all of these really successful habits, but I wasn't connected to why I was doing it. I was listening to all these podcasts, but nothing was really sinking in. It wasn't contextualizing for me. And that's when you know that something has to change, that it's not about doing more or enforcing more habits, but now it's about actually facing the thing that you're running away from. And for me, it was this emotional connection that I was really lacking, this disconnect as to who Stephanie was now. She's building this incredible business. She's coaching clients. She's still in construction. Is this still for her? Why is she doing all of these things? It felt like it was coming to an end of an identity for me, but I didn't recognize it. And I kept ignoring those feelings and instead going, no, it's the routine. It's the habits. I'm not getting this result because I haven't done this. I know that you relate to this. If you're in this position right now, I know that you relate to this feeling. And it's frustrating because you develop all these really great habits and you get into the routine, and our mind, our body, especially when you're a high achiever, which you guys are because you're listening to this channel, when you're a high achiever, you crave outcome. You want achievement. You want something to show that you are moving forward. But that is also the trap. And our mind loves that. Our body craves that. But that's the beautiful thing about self-development. It's meant to be, you're always growing. There's always levels to it. And routines are meant to be outgrown. The worst thing that you could possibly do is feel so disconnected and misaligned with your current routine and current habits, but feeling guilty that you're not maintaining or ticking them off. That's when you know that you've outgrown that routine. But our mind disguises that as, no, you're being lazy. No, you're making excuses up. You're making excuses. You have commitment issues. You can't commit to anything. That's why you're trying to give up. When actually, if you've done the work and you've been able to understand your ego, what that voice sounds like, who you are as a person, then you'll realize that it's actually not because you have commitment issues. It's not because you have lack of motivation, but it's because you're no longer aligned to the habits. And there's something deeper. There's something in your life that needs to significantly change. There's something that you need to face and an obstacle you need to overcome so that you can reach that next level. And you know what it feels like to be stuck. No matter what it is that you're doing, no matter how many books you read, no matter how many podcasts you're listening to, something is not working out. You're not getting the result that you want. And it's frustrating. It's really, really frustrating. And then that could look like you going, oh, well, at least I don't have the results, but I tried. I'm trying. At least I don't have the results, but I'm being consistent. It will land one day. And yes, that is applicable to some degree, but also our ego can easily use that as a way to keep us in this loop of adding on, stacking on even more habits without actually trying to address the root cause of why these patterns, why these obstacles, why these same outcomes that you don't want, why do they keep happening? So what will you do? What will you do when you know you need to do the actual work deep down? There's a part of you that's saying maybe it's something else, but you choose to ignore that voice that's telling you that there are deeper things here you need to address. You will then turn to your habits. You'll then convince yourself that it's because you're not consistent, that you need to be better, that you need to do better, and hope that this time round, as you try again, it's going to change. You'll convince yourself that, oh, maybe I should do this 30-day challenge and that will kickstart my motivation. Maybe I need to learn this skill and invest in this program and invest in this course before I take action to do the actual thing. Maybe that's what's missing. But here's the thing. You cannot add more habits to heal misdirection. You have to first confront this truth, this reality that you keep avoiding. And how do you know that it's truth? How do you know if that voice is worth listening to rather than it being another form of distraction? Is because that voice will be very loud. It's a voice that keeps showing up again and again and again, but you actually gaslight yourself to think that it's not. You gaslight yourself to go, oh, nah, this is just me being lazy. This is just me being uncommitted again. This is just me being ... But it's that simple. If you have that voice, that knowing inside of you that there's something that really deeply needs to shift and change in order for you to stop repeating the habits or the patterns that keep replaying out in your life, that is the sign. That is the sign. But here's the thing. Our mind hates endings. We hate things ending. We hate giving up. We hate knowing that we've got to close this door to open another. No matter how much you package your confusion, no matter how much you try to polish this confusion and convince yourself like, no, I'm just confused because of this. I'll just keep doing the same thing and it's going to be different. The thing is, it's still confusion. You're still not getting anywhere. You're just bringing yourself around another circle again. Recently, I was speaking to someone in their mid-20s and he was going through this. He's smart, he's ambitious, really genuine, really kind, but he was recently terminated from his role. And this is not the first time that it's happened. And the same thing, the same patterns of doing something, being confused, trying something else, being confused, all of these patterns, it kept, even though it was a different environment, a different context, the same outcome kept happening. The same outcome. And that's when you know that there's something deeper here that needs to be addressed. Because if the same patterns are repeating despite your change in job, your change in environment, change in friends, change in relationships, change in the people you surround yourself with, change in morning routine, like if you still keep getting the same outcome, the same things repeating, then there is something deeper in you that needs to be addressed. That's a sign to say that it's not out here. It's not more of the habits or change in the environment or something external. It's something internal that you need to question and explore and address. But when you're in it, you'll convince yourself, oh, it's bad luck. Oh, it's because I just coincidentally ended up with a bad manager. Oh, this happened again, but it's because maybe I didn't look at the company or do enough research. Maybe I didn't ask enough people for advice. Maybe I didn't, you start to make up reasons as to why the same outcome happened despite your change in environment and change in circumstance. And so instead of you feeling like you have to actually address the deeper thing that needs to change in yourself, you rush to fix things. As high achievers, we are so quick to wanting to fix something. To fix something means that we feel like we're moving towards progress. It means that we're doing something. But actually, it's the opposite. The opposite is what we should be doing. The mind is always going to try and keep us busy so that it can keep us safe. Our mind as high achievers, we have trained ourselves to feel like being busy, being productive equals success, equals safety. And so when we're in this situation where the same patterns, the same things keep happening, our life keeps coming to the same outcome, our minds then go, okay, let's try and fix it. Let's apply for a different role. Let's do this. Let's do that. We're trying to constantly look external for something, but it's actually the inner work that we need to address. And so when I started coaching with my coach, Chen, a beautiful thing that he said that really resonated with me is that before every incredible breakthrough, there are obstacles. And so this concept is applicable to life, to personal, to someone who wants to change careers, to someone who wants to start a business. It is applicable to anything. We think that we need to fix the barrier, the thing that's actually stopping us. But actually, we need to do the thing to fix the barrier. So I'll give you, and I'll contextualize this. You know that something deeper has to change because the same patterns, the same outcomes keep happening. But you tell yourself, oh, now's not the right time for me to invest in a coach. Now is not the right time for me to do this. I just lost my job. I don't have money. Now's not the time for me to ... I need to fix that barrier. I need to find more time. I need to find more money. I need to do whatever it is to actually then give myself the permission to have the transformation that I want to fix my life. But that is the exact trap that keeps you where you are. That is why you're still lost. You're still confused. You're still checking everybody's socials and wondering why you haven't figured it out yet. Because you are focusing on fixing this barrier that is stopping you from getting the result instead of going all in on the result so that it can fix the barrier. I'll give you another reframe. This barrier that's been put in front of you, whether it's, oh, this is a lot to invest in myself, or I really don't have the time at the moment, or I'm worried about what people at work are going to think about me if I talk about this openly. Whatever this obstacle, whatever this barrier is, it's actually the barrier or the thing that you actually want asking you, how bad are you willing to work for me? How bad are you willing to ignore that barrier and the logical reasons that it's giving you as to why now is not the right time and moment? And how willing are you to risk or take a bet on yourself so that you can get to the outcome that you want? That's what this barrier is actually asking you. It shows up right before your transformation because it's asking you, how serious are you? How serious are you about getting to this place of success that you know you deserve and that you want and that you can have? The mind does not like uncertainty. It wants structure. It wants stability. It wants answers. You know, have you ever been in a situation where your mind asks you a question, you answer it, and then it gives you another question? That's been applicable to me in so many different contexts. It was like, okay, now if I know my purpose, then I can start the business. And then I had the business. Okay, but do people believe my product? Yes, no. And then another question will pop up. The more I answer it, the more questions just keep popping up. The mind wants to be certain, but that is the trap in itself. And if you know and you can see that the mind craves certainty and it fears uncertainty, you can see how that drives a lot of the actions and the behaviors that you take and you choose to take. So because it craves this certainty, it's going to build really logical, rational decisions to stop you from doing what you actually need to do. It will tell you that now is not the right time. We don't have the money for this. Maybe you should keep doing what you're doing and a different result will come of it. It will make these rational decisions for you. But just like the morning routine that you keep trying to do to try and feel some kind of clarity and get some kind of feeling of success and movement and understanding more of who you are, it's a form of optimizing stagnation. You're stuck, but you think the morning routine and these little habits that you're implementing is going to fix the actual stagnation, but it's not, because you haven't addressed the root cause of the stagnation, of that stuck feeling. You can't habit your way into a life that doesn't feel like yours. If you don't know what that life is, if you're not clear about where you're going, if you're not clear about your direction, it doesn't matter how many habits you're going to implement for yourself, it's not going to stick. No productivity system fixes a meaningless existence. And I love that. I love that because, like I say to my clients, there is no point in you jumping into a car with no direction as to where you're going, where you want to go, and expect the car to move there. Right? But we do that in our lives. We expect ourselves to figure that out in our lives, and it makes no sense. I wanted to share that because as we get closer towards the end of the year and we go into 2026, I think it's so important for us to realize this. If you are currently stuck in this loop, the same outcomes are happening, you're feeling unfulfilled, that you're feeling stuck, you're feeling really, really lost, and you keep forcing habits on yourself, but you still feel stuck and lost, you need to take a step back and ask yourself and admit to yourself that there's something deeper here that you need to overcome. There is a barrier that you need to overcome. And once you overcome that barrier, there is a beautiful breakthrough waiting for you. A beautiful, beautiful breakthrough waiting for you. But that won't come unless you address that voice in your head that knows, that feeling in your gut that knows deep down, something deeper has to transform here. Something deeper has to change for you. That barrier, that feeling of stuckness, it's there to expose to you that this identity that you're currently having, this way of living that you're living, this current life that you're having, it's ready to be up leveled. There's something more out there. You can't keep doing the same thing that you're doing. It needs to be different. And most people are going to spend their lives waiting for that barrier to be fixed, waiting for that barrier, waiting for them to have more money, have more time, have more this, have more that, until they make the actual real move. But that is the exact reason why they're going to still be stuck where they are. I hope if you take anything away from this episode, if you are feeling stuck, if you're feeling lost, know that that is the exact opportunity presented to you right now. It's telling you that you're ready for the change. That fear of the sacrifice or the decisions or the investment that you have to make is there to test whether you really, really want it or not. It's like an initiation process. And I hope that you guys know you are so deserving of something more, that you deserve to fix the life so that you can have habits that really align, that really connect with who you are and where you want to go, and that the barriers are there to test you and that you're going to overcome that test. You're going to overcome that barrier so that you can live and connect to the life that you guys deserve. You deserve that. You deserve that. You deserve a life where you wake up every single morning feeling inspired, feeling excited, feeling connected to yourself. Like, who wants to live a life where they wake up and they're like, oh, just another day. Oh, here we go again with work. Like, that is my biggest fear in life. And for me anyway, that's like a huge sign that something has to change, because the moment that I feel that stuck, stagnated, can't be bothered, unmotivated, disconnected feeling with my life that I'm creating, I know something's got to change. Something's deep has got to change. So you guys believe that. Believe that. And know that you deserve that life that is so inspiring, that you are so in love with, where you are so aligned and connected, and all the habits that you then choose to implement, it allows you to build and expand on this beautiful life. But just know that no matter how many habits that you're going to try and enforce in your life, it will not fix a life that you hate. You've got to fix the life first, and then use the habits to optimize that life.